HLAC certified to the highest standards. Walker has partnerships with hospitals, surgery centers, and medical clinics in and around the metro area. Walker Medical Linen Services in Kansas City and online at walkermls.com.
Kansas City Royals.
With the 6th pick of the 2024 MLB Draft, the Kansas City Royals select Jack Caglione, a two-way player from the University of Florida.
It was surreal, building up to it and, finding out that I was going to be a Kansas City Royal. It's an unbelievable feeling. I'm just really excited to get to work with all these, high-end talent guys and just develop more and become, the next guy in the lineup behind Bobby, hopefully. So here we go.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, this is a huge day for the organization, and just watching, first year working with Bridgie with the same club. We've known each other for a number of years, but to watch him and his preparation and really the entire scouting department, the guys that are in the room for the last week and the area scouts who are home right now, they've done a tremendous job in preparing for this day. But when you're picking in the top 5-6 picks, really, you just don't know how it can shake out. I knew how excited this room was about Jack and the possibility of him getting there once he got by a couple teams. So I got excited.
My wife I could take to the ballpark and she would say, that guy right there has the best power I've ever seen. Just like, and you know what, he's a good kid. He's always there. You watch him, he's signing autographs with the kids, and he's a very professional kid at 21 years old. But the power is real.
Belted to right field, and Adam Frazier has a leadoff home run. Number 3 as a Royal.
Sink the sinker.
Swinging a drive, right field. He smashed this one deep into the corner and gone. Number 23. He is some kind of hot heading into the All-Star break. 439 feet with that shot.
Dominic Smith, who's had some big hits lately.
Fly ball here by Smith. That's a deep drive by Dom. Way back. And kissing goodbye. But the Red Sox launching right away against KC. Dom Smith with number 5. A 2-run shot. Getting it airborne and out at Fenway on a Sunday. Grounded to second. Hamilton out at second and not in time at first. And if that call stands with his hustle, MJ Melendez will get an RBI, but he might be hurt. Avoiding a double play. And Salvi hits it deep into left center field and makes this a 1-run game.
Woo, man, oh man, that ball was jolting.
And a liner into right center field down for base hit. Devers will score. That is a giant run on a day like today. Red Sox 5 and Kansas City 3.
This is Dom Smith's day, too. He's got the 2-run homer back in the second. Now his 3rd RBI. Came in a huge situation. They needed a knock there to try to get that 2-run lead. He comes through.
And now Freddie Fermin comes to the plate. And a line driving a base hit into left center field. Blanco, the pinch runner, will score. Hanson trying to play third on the throw. Out at third base. He is cut down for out number 2. The 0-2. Ground ball up the middle, scooped up by Hamilton, and gets him at first base. The Red Sox win it, and they take the series. And what an entertaining, surprising, and fun and intriguing first half comes to an end. The Red Sox do it with defense here at the tail end of the game, and they win it 5-4.
Yeah, I could care less what last year's record was at this point. This is a new team. This is a bunch of guys that's fighting their butts off to compete in a playoff race, and that's what's exciting.
Tough. Boston in the standings with you guys so close. Tough series. What do you take from the weekend series?
Yeah, good baseball games. The first 2 were dominated by pitching. Today, close game, 1-run game. You got to find a way to be one better than them, and they did that today to us.
Good morning, Kansas City. This is New Day with SSJ on Sports Radio 810 WHB. It's Monday, July 15th, 2024. Stephen St. John and Todd Leabo with Jake Gutierrez. Thanks for joining us. Today on the show, we'll talk to former Major League pitcher Scott Carroll. We're also going to talk to our good friend Wes Wilson, who competed in the celebrity softball game at the All-Star game over the weekend. And might I say he did quite well. He was on the winning team. He hit an inside-the-park home run, and he had a web gem at shortstop. And so, and he was part of the winning team for the American League.
Winning.
And so Wes Wilson will join us at 9 o'clock to tell us what it was like, share his experience of playing in the Celebrity All-Star game.
Winning.
The Celebrity Softball game at the All-Star game.
Winning.
And then we'll have a cool announcement coming up around 9:30 or 9:40.
What's that?
I can't say, can I?
You can't say? No.
No.
You can't say. I know what it is.
So do I.
Jake knows what it is.
I do?
Barely.
Did you guys tell me?
Yes.
Oh.
I tell you a lot of things.
No, I don't listen to a lot of things.
It's about photo day. Did you bring your fancy clothes?
I'm not doing it.
Oh boy.
I don't want to do this, and I want the record to show how irritated I am that I'm doing this, how this was a thorn in my side over the weekend, and how much I bitched and complained to my wife about having to do this.
Don't do it. Let's make a stand.
I got to set a good example.
Well.
And so I need to, but I mean, there's plenty of, but it's also a lesson.
AI. We'll have AI do it.
I try to do things, and I try to point out to my kids when I do something that I absolutely, positively don't want to do. And because they accuse me of always making them do things they don't want to do, you know.
But you control them, and you make them do things.
No, I don't.
Hey, look, I'm all in favor for doing things that you don't like to do.
Yeah. Got to get uncomfortable.
Right. I do things that I don't want to do all the time.
You got to do it. But whoever decided to make Picture Day on Monday that's a terrible, terrible decision.
Tell Gabe.
It's a terrible decision.
Tell Gabe.
Right, but Mondays aren't good for people.
No. Make things happen.
Monday's a busy day for me.
Thursday would be great. Even a Friday would be great.
Don't plan things Monday or Friday. Just don't do it.
Yeah.
Monday and Fridays, just take them off the calendar.
Well, we got a lot of stuff starting tomorrow.
I would take Friday instead of Monday, but it's Mondays. I'm not.
We got a lot of Chiefs things going on starting tomorrow, so
this isn't happening. But yeah, I do. I sent some of my stuff to the cleaner.
I got workout, man.
We're working out at noon.
I know.
We're getting pictures took before that.
That's not. See, I got work to do.
I got two sport coats, you know, so I could. And I also told them this, and they better stick to this. I said, look here, the pictures are waist up.
Oh yeah, totally.
There are no full body pictures. And
let's go upper waist.
That's
not
fine.
even just waist up. Let's go chest up.
But I said, and they goes, oh, maybe. I go, no, there's no maybe. I said, I won't take the picture, Gabe.
Yeah.
Well, maybe there's. I go,
no.
There's no maybe, or I won't take the picture, Gabe. I won't take.
We're doing portraits.
And so I did not bring slacks.
No, I got dirty jeans on.
Okay, so there's no slacks. I brought some black running suit pants that could
joggers.
I'm not sitting down.
You're not posing in some silly way.
I'm not sitting down.
Sit down like with me with my hand on your shoulder.
I'm not sitting down. I'm standing up, and they're gonna take a picture, and not one person better say, "Hey, smile." I don't smile in pictures.
Come on, bud, you're gonna smile.
I got some chucklehead on Facebook. You look like you're mad. Why are you smiling? Like, what do you care if I smile in a picture or not?
People like you happy.
Like, what does anyone care?
I want
First
you
of all,
happy.
What does anyone care what I wear? Or what does anyone care if I smile? Leave me alone. How about that?
No, I want
if
you
you don't
to
like what I
smile.
wear, go change your own clothes. Because you're projecting your unhappiness on me. If you don't like what I'm wearing, then so what? I'm wearing it. You're not. If you don't like that I'm not smiling, so what? I'm not smiling. Probably because I'm thinking about you. There.
I'm not going to name a name.
I had a couple people say those things to me.
But I've lost a couple of pounds. So I have a new suit that I got over at Houndstooth.
You look great.
About, when did I get that? 6 months ago, right? So I have a brand new, beautiful black suit, and I bought a really nice dress shirt over there.
Yeah.
They have nice stuff. Nicest shirt I've ever had in my life.
That's where I get my suits and my sports coats. Houndstooth, that is top shelf, unbelievable quality, wonderful place to get.
So I figure I'll have a
menswear.
little jacket and tie on for a picture, and I got my 810 logo on right now. So my very nice shirt. I'm not going to talk about who's cleaning it, but my wife took it to get cleaned while I was in Las Vegas. She took it on Tuesday, and they said it would be back Friday. What is today?
It's Monday.
Yeah, that shirt's not back. So I'm not going to have my fancy houndstooth shirt.
So we were supposed to bring dress clothes?
There was never really instruction. He wanted to make sure everyone had an 810 shirt.
There was never really instruction.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
right.
so I'm
That's
for
right.
sure. You guys are bringing dress suits? I'm definitely not showing up.
I'm going to put on a shirt and tie for one picture.
I'm not wearing a tie.
And
because I don't wear ties.
People give me grief because I have the same. We did this how many years ago?
I don't remember.
Those are
8 years ago, maybe 9 years ago.
yeah.
In the lobby, we all dressed up, and Steve Sanders came over and took the pictures.
We did them in the conference
room. So I have a picture that's on all my credentials, and I'm a lot older, and I don't look the exact same.
Yeah.
Now my hair hasn't changed much, but so I need a newer picture for that looks nice, I guess. But I don't know.
I got a sports coat.
Listen,
dress
I'm
shirt, that's it.
excited about you smiling.
I'm not
Will you take a
smiling.
picture with me?
I won't smile about it.
God,
No.
dog it.
I look stupid when I smile.
No, you don't. You're a handsome little boy.
No,
And this is where Julia gets it from. And that's why I don't give her grief.
I learned it
about
from you,
not
Dad.
smiling in
you
her
don't look
picture.
stupid when you smile.
Like
But
this,
like,
baby.
when I see you laugh, you don't look stupid.
But I tell her, I go, baby, I just want a picture of you, and if that's what you want to be, don't smile.
There
Do
you go.
whatever you want. I love you. I love you either way.
She smiled a couple times.
Yeah.
You got to catch her though.
Oh, she smiles every time she sees me. It's great.
You gotta get a
I feel
picture of
very
her.
special because of that. Because she never ever I remember when she was managing the basketball team, and I showed up. It's like she's like, "Hey!" She was actually excited to see me. I was like, "God, that's great."
That's rare for you to have someone be excited to see you.
Well, and it be Julia. So
Yeah.
I mean, I think we have the same attitude towards life.
Yeah, for sure. So picture days today. Home run derbies tonight. Bob
Yeah.
Witt.
A lot happened over the weekend.
Royals didn't quite get it done on Sunday. That would have been a nice one to go into the break with a win. 2 out of 3 from the Red Sox. Don't like that. But they're making moves, Steven. Are the moves going to make a difference?
I'm texting my daughter.
Can't make the second or third out at third or second.
No.
You learned that in Little League.
No. They had some bad base running in Boston.
Learned that in Little League. Killer.
Not good.
So there was a lot that went on this weekend. Obviously, in sports and not. We're gonna try to stick to sports, but it was it was a bad weekend. Let's put it that way. Not a great weekend. And so this is one of the times I think it's. I'm glad that I host a sports talk show so we can talk sports and give, whether they need it or not or want it or not, a little bit of a diversion from what's going on in the real world, right?
Yeah.
So.
And even sports got stupid. This mess last night at Copa America.
And look,
unbelievable.
We'll get to the trade with the Royals. The Royals, lost 2 out of 3. It is what it is. That's what happened. The Red Sox are good. Royals are pretty good too. They made a really bold trade that we'll talk about. But yeah, like I watched a lot of the videos that were posted last night on social media from this soccer match down at Hard Rock Stadium, someplace that we've been for the Super Bowl at the Copa America final.
Seems like the NFL wasn't in charge of security here.
And look, I hate
Seems like nobody was.
You never. You hate the stereotype, right? But you hear people complain about soccer fans and soccer hooligans and the safety. Because we see things like I've watched video of things that have happened in Mexico at a soccer game that have made me like almost want to vomit.
Mhm.
Like this is more violent than an episode of Narcos. We've seen things happen, right? You've read
I've seen
stories
things happen in Europe.
Things just happen at soccer matches around the world that don't happen at any other sporting
I
events.
mean, we've heard stories from Tony Miola, getting
Okay.
hit with bags of urine.
But this thing last night was unbelievably unorganized. It was unsafe.
Very unsafe.
There were kids that were in danger. There were basically just a whole bunch of fans that didn't even have tickets
showed up
and bum rushed the gates and were climbing in through vents and
brought ladders and went over the top. And then lots of people who had spent thousands of dollars for a ticket were having a hard time getting in. And then when they got in, there were just people in their seats like, well, no, we're not leaving. Tough luck.
I don't even know how to describe what happened. They delayed the match by at least how much?
Hour and 15 minutes.
Oh, pissed me off.
Yeah, because I was asleep. I didn't get to see extra time at this point.
I was trying to plan my night out.
We had House of Dragon, a lot of things to watch.
Stupid.
But so here's the thing. This is a nice thing for Kansas City to see. Now listen, a group stage match in the World Cup 2 years from now and a Copa America final are two different things, okay? There is going to be a knockout game at Arrowhead in 2 years. FIFA will be in charge of that. Right. You don't see these kind of issues at FIFA events. FIFA's a little more like the National Football League, a little better controlled. This was controlled by CONMEBOL, which is the South American Soccer Federation, and it's been a mess the entire time. We had Colombia fans in North Carolina last week fighting with Uruguayan players. I went to one of these matches at Arrowhead. It was calm. It was great. You know, there was 55,000 people there, and it's 72,000 seat place. Not an issue. This got a little intense last night.
Okay, who did you go see?
Right.
I saw Uruguay, the people who were involved in America.
Okay, American fans don't care that much about soccer at
exactly.
this point. I'm sorry, Jake, but that's just the truth.
Well, the Colombian fans
they want to kill people.
Look like the biggest
in
issue in both of these issues we saw here.
Yeah,
the Colombia fans were the issue in Charlotte, and they looked to me. They were the ones in yellow. There were a lot more of that running around Miami, bum rushing the gates and crushing against it than the other, and that's a mess. So here's the deal: if you're saying who do you want to play here in Kansas City in 2 years, let's not choose Colombia. It looks like trouble. It's a disaster and destruction in the stadium too. You see the picture of the escalator?
Yeah, they tore it apart.
Just broken. Now maybe this. Well, listen, they want to tear down Arrowhead, build a new stadium. May this be the demolition plan?
Right. One guy that was there that covered soccer that was given a first-hand account said, one of the worst parts about tonight, we watched fans bum rush the entrances, scale walls, crawl through vents to get into the stadium. And we were talking to moms and dads who were there with their young kids who were obviously scared, frightened, they felt like they were in danger, and they were. Around 8:45 Eastern, the gates were open and thousands of fans stampeded into the stadium. Stadium staff didn't even attempt to check tickets. There was legitimately no security. Crazy as it sounds, it seems as though they were told to let in a bunch of people just so the stadium would fill out for TV, and then arbitrarily close the gates once they felt like they had let enough people in, and that was that. Our tickets no longer mattered. Then you had police officers going through the stadium to different rows trying to check tickets. Like they didn't have anything else better to do, and throw people out and replace them with the people that had tickets to those seats, right? This guy goes on to say, what was so awful about this, besides the obvious, was none of those fans with young kids were comfortable going inside, even if they were given the opportunity to. I can live with missing the game tonight because I work in sports and have been lucky enough to attend games of this magnitude before. But I can't imagine having to explain to my kid that we can't go inside, we have to leave because we don't feel safe, which is absolutely legitimate.
Yeah. I have felt a little unsafe before in crowds at sporting events, but nothing that even approaches 15% of that.
No, if you got a little kid there last night, you got to go.
Yeah,
there were kids being lifted over the barricades because they were getting crushed.
Yeah.
You know?
They're lucky it didn't get really tragic. Now, had they not opened the gates, perhaps it would have been. You've seen those things where people get crushed against gates and all that stuff.
This isn't incredibly uncommon. I mean, we saw this, 3 years ago at the Euro Finals in England.
And people bum rushed it there.
Yeah, I mean, there were people that got seriously injured in that. I mean, so when England played Italy in the Euro Finals in 2021.
At Wembley in England.
At Wembley in England, England fans rushed Wembley, and a lot of similar things that happened. I mean, it's stupid.
Yeah, they got to. Here's the deal. I'm just spitballing some ideas. How about open the gates 3 hours before the game instead of an hour and a half? Let the crowd get in there a little bit.
And they
do
also
all those
said,
things.
like, for example, at matches that are put on by FIFA, similar to the Super Bowl, the initial entry
is far back.
Is further back. It's
Yeah.
not actually at the stadium. There's a perimeter that you have to get through with your ticket before you even get close to the stadium.
Yeah.
And if you've been to the Super Bowl, you understand that, as opposed to going right up to the gate with your ticket.
Yeah, it's total disaster. It's a mess. Argentina won.
Who cares?
Them,
honestly,
yeah,
who cares?
It was.
I don't.
I spent a lot of time on Twitter this weekend looking at troubles happening around because that is one of the good things. You have to sift through it about what's true and not true in the world, but you can get real-time information out there about what's going on, and that was incredible to see all those images of that. They told people, hey, if you don't have a ticket, don't come. Okay. They weren't listening, obviously. And they got there, and the second the gates opened, there were many people there with the plan of, I don't have a ticket, I'm going to just sneak in. So
they needed more security. There's all kind. I mean, there's breakdowns everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And look, and if you are a fan, or if you say you're a sports fan that lives in Kansas City, or lives in the area, and maybe you're not a big soccer fan like Jake, or a huge soccer, even like you're a big soccer fan, and you've thought to yourself, you know what?
I should go to the World Cup.
I'd like to go to the World Cup because it's a big event, and it's in Kansas City.
Now you're like,
and I'd like to do this. And then if you watch that last night and say, you know what, I'm gonna sit this one out. I have no argument with what you say. I got no problem with that.
Yeah.
Now you'd like to think it'll be more organized with more security and everything else, but again, you get in there. Oh, there's a chance maybe the players go up and start fighting with the fans. Who knows? Because we've seen it.
Yeah.
Who can argue against that happening? Because it's just happened. And how do we know what? Like, it depends on what countries you're going to be here. But you're right. If they're going to roll out Colombia or someone here, like, you know what?
Pass.
I'll be at home.
Yeah.
Not interested. Not that passionate about it.
Yeah.
And so that's what a great commercial that was for the upcoming World Cup for everyone.
Hey,
look at this.
The good side is you get to see failures, and hopefully you have systems in place that make it better for you when it comes around. That's what life in the world is about, growing and trying to learn from other people's mistakes. But that was certainly a mess.
And I follow, Jake, do you follow Tactical Manager?
There were some videos there.
They tweet a lot about the U.S. men's national team, and I try to follow some things to keep up to date. I've found that they're pretty good.
Yes, I do follow them.
So they just went down this, and you tell me if you disagree with any of these.
Okay.
Okay, the Copa America might go down as the worst major tournament in modern soccer. And these were the issues. Awful fields.
Yep.
Lots of half-empty stadiums.
Very much so.
Terrible security.
Obviously.
Terrible coverage.
Yeah, yes.
Bad refs.
Yes.
Awful refs. Awful.
Brawl between players and fans.
Yeah.
Happened.
The final blank show last night. Yes.
Yep.
And that's like all of them. It's worse than all of them combined.
Then he says terrible final game. No one's talking about it. Everyone says it was an awful game.
It was nothing. It took to the 112th minute.
Well, I mean, it was not even that. It was just the play was terrible. I was sitting there watching it with my older brother. He came over yesterday, and we were watching soccer and getting in the cold tub.
I mean, it's like
we were watching it,
I get it. It's a mess.
hard.
The guys were out there an hour and 15 minutes late, and they you get your mind and your body all geared up to go play at 7 our time.
They're worried about. They have family members that were having.
Were
trouble
they in the
getting
stadium? Out of the
yeah,
stadium?
I mean, so
all
there
of
was so much going on, and it's like, you had mentioned Colombo, who is in charge of South American soccer. But the U.S. soccer and CONCACAF have plenty of blame to go around with this, too. This is on American soil.
That's true.
This is on American soil.
They were not the people in charge of the
But they allowed
people
them to have, like, they basically.
Yes.
They allowed them, because they're in charge of that.
Well, the silly thing is, it's just another tournament that makes people mad about soccer. What is this even? Like the Euros are all the European teams. And there's a Gold Cup for the teams in North America, and there's something for the teams in South America. Why are we having this one? Well, because they just need another trophy.
Well, I mean, what they did is they allowed Colombo to do it because it was cheaper than doing it themselves. because
Sure.
they are responsible for those games. CONCACAF is responsible for those games. They basically contracted it out to CONMEBOL to let them do it. It's their tournament, yes, but it's on American soil.
But it's almost like
all three of them.
You see the videos of that happening last night, and you think, oh my God, what country's that in?
Oh, it's Miami.
The United States.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yes. I mean, so all three of those entities have blame to take: U.S. Soccer, CONCACAF, and CONMEBOL.
And
all three of them.
Obviously didn't hire. And let me tell you something.
They went on the cheap. They did this tournament on the cheap.
When you hire security at any of these things, it's generally nothing more than a glorified windbreaker. Okay, you used to go out to Arrowhead and all that. I mean, there are off-duty Kansas City, Missouri police officers doing things, but the little windbreakers you see, they don't have authority to do anything. And you're not going to be able to handle some sort of crowd like this, a ticket taker, an usher with a wand.
Like,
I mean, what are you doing?
I'm like even watching more videos of like Columbia fans that are in there already, just tearing stuff up,
breaking things,
just tearing stuff up. And one guy tweeted a video and says, "Remind me never to go to Columbia." And I'm thinking, is this what you needed to not go to Columbia?
No.
Right? Yeah,
that's good.
That was already on my no-fly list. I was not going to Columbia. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you.
Good?
Last night wasn't the
one
decision maker for me.
It wasn't the straw that broke the camel's back.
You'd already seen Narcos.
I'm always like, I was like, I'm okay.
I'm okay here.
A long list before we get down to
this
that.
is the country that the guy had the own goal against the United States in 1994 and was killed. They made the 30 for 30 about.
2 Escobars.
Yeah. So, hey, listen, it's a mess last night.
Yeah.
It's a mess.
Well, you know what? Last night was the culmination. I liked how you put that at the end of that. Last night was the culmination of a blank show. The whole tournament.
Yeah.
I said this at the beginning.
Oh, you did?
I did it. I mean,
he's been tweeting this the whole time.
I was like, the Copa America sucks. And this is why. It's officiating, and it's how it's run, and it's been terrible. The worst part of it is that the Euro Championships have been going on at the exact same time, and you watch the drastic differences between the play and just how the tournaments are run, the production, just all of it. It's a joke.
Now, he's been tweeting about this whole thing. A couple of times I'm thinking, is he kind of overreacting here? Like, no, he's
right on it.
Underreacting. So.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it was a culmination. Last night was a culmination of a terribly run tournament.
And then Messi got hurt in the game.
Yeah.
It looks like he's out for a while.
It's the first time he's ever come out in a final in his life.
Did you see his ankle? Didn't look good.
Awful.
Hey, welcome the world to America in Kansas City in 2 years.
But can you imagine how pissed off you'd be? Because the average price of a ticket paid was about $1,500.
Yeah.
They were interviewing people that had their
couldn't
legal
get in.
tickets.
Couldn't get in.
On the outside of the fence, like saying, hey, I spent $3,000, $4,500 of this ticket, can't get in. Now, what do? They going to get a refund? No, because that's the right thing to do, so that probably won't happen.
It's also secondary
Can you
market
imagine
tickets.
How pissed off you'd be?
You know?
Beside
like,
myself.
oh, but what can you do? There's nothing you can
do. And then
do.
if you got in, you go there, and there's a couple of dudes from Columbia sitting in your seats like, you know,
and
no hablo.
Guess what?
I'm out.
They're not moving.
No.
And they went, and they also said there was no security for weapons or anything else.
No, they didn't screen anything.
God only knows what
it
going on there.
It could have been a lot worse, but I mean, that's a bad look, and
I watch people getting tackled and beaten, and all this that was a whole month's worth of videos for World Star.
Oh God.
Boy, oh boy. We'll take a break. When we come back, let's talk Royals. How about that?
Mundo Estrella.
We got the first round draft pick made last night. You got a big trade made over the weekend. There's stuff to talk about the Royals after this on WHP. Welcome back to New Day with SSJ. Okay, so lots of news with the Royals. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Red Sox to end at least the first portion of the season, so that's bad news. But they made a big trade, and they also, looks like, ended up with a great pick, a steal at number 6 overall in the first round of the draft in Jack Caglione. And so first, let's talk about the trade. This was exciting to see, but also it's still, let's be honest with you, it was, when I saw that they had acquired Hunter Harvey, I was very excited. Because even if you remember, Jake, when I was talking about relievers that I wanted to see them acquire, I said one of the problems is the Nationals at that time could still convince themselves they're in the wild card race, and they have Hunter Harvey, and then to a lesser extent Kyle Finnegan. And those are two guys who are good fits for the Royals who I think they would want. Well, I knew that they wanted Harvey, but they would want, and that the Nationals would trade. So I was excited that
Why
they traded.
Why are you excited about Hunter Harvey?
For Hunter Harvey.
Is this someone you've been intimately following in your fantasy career?
Yes. He had tremendous upside when he was with Baltimore, but he dealt with a lot of injuries, ends up with Washington, and became just an excellent reliever.
Could have been because of his exciting about it.
He throws hard. He gets strikeouts. He doesn't walk very many. And don't get distracted by his ERA of 4.20 this year. That has a lot to do with a very high BABIP.
Mm-hmm.
He's been unlucky, but all of his peripherals still indicate that he's pitching at a very high level, and his ERA should even out, right? For example, last year he had 2.82 ERA and a .94 WHIP in 60 innings, 67 strikeouts, only 13 walks, had 10 saves. He was excellent. The year before, 2.52 ERA and a 1.14 WHIP in 39 innings. And really, I mean, you look at it, he hasn't pitched a whole lot of innings. 45 this year, 60 the year before, 39 the year before that. And like I said, he was only available for just a small amount of time in Baltimore because of injuries. And health is an issue with him. And so that's something you have to keep your eyes on. But when he's healthy, I mean, you could make the argument that I don't think it's that tough of an argument that he's the Royals' best reliever right now after acquiring him. But the Royals, and so that was part one. Ooh, Royals got Hunter Harvey. That's one of the best relievers that's going to be available on the trade market. So that's great. Then, okay, let's see who they gave up for him. And I'll be honest with you, when I saw, I was like, wow, they gave up a lot. That was just my initial reaction. Oh boy, they gave up a lot. Because I was really anxious to see, because he's not a rent-a player, because he's still got another year of control, so you get him for a year and a half.
Right.
The rest of this year and all of next year. But the Royals traded, Jake, you've heard me talking about Caden Wallace. Caden Wallace had started to pick things up this year, had moved into the top 10 third base prospects at MLB Pipeline, according to MLB Pipeline. And look, I had a long conversation with JJ Piccolo about this. Baseball Prospectus, MLB Pipeline, Baseball America, you name it. Their rankings do not equal the Royals' rankings.
Their internal rankings are different.
Either their internal rankings or how they rank other prospects. It gives you an idea. It just gives us an idea. But the Royals don't always agree with what they say, right? Like, there are prospects that other teams, or like the outside of the industry, are higher on that the Royals aren't as high on. The Royals have prospects that they're high on that maybe some others aren't. It's just, that's how it is, right? But according to MLB Pipeline, just to give you an idea, they had Caden Wallace as the number 2 prospect. So they trade the number 2 prospect, Caden Wallace, third baseman, and their competitive balance A pick, the number 39 overall pick in the draft last night. And I saw some people like, hey, I didn't know they could trade draft picks. Yes.
Yeah.
You are allowed to trade
That's
competitive
how
balance
they
picks.
Acquired Drew Waters 2 years ago.
Yes. And along in close to about $2.5 million of pool money goes with that. Now, to make room for Harvey, they designated Nick Anderson for assignment. But it's a bold move.
That's a sign they're very serious.
Yes, that's a lot to give up. There's no doubt about that. That's a lot to give up. But I'll be honest with you, I'm not gonna lie to you. I knew that they like Hunter Harvey. That's why I threw his name out there a few times. And Jake was here, and those were one of the few times he was listening, and he wrote down Hunter Harvey.
On his blue card.
He's 29 years old. As I mentioned, he's got a 26.3% strikeout rate and only a 6.3% walk rate. He's earned a career-high 26 holds this season, tied with Cardinals reliever JoJo Romero for the Major League lead.
They need to get a lead at this point.
Yeah,
They haven't had a lead in the last 2 games.
He had 10 saves and 19 holds last year. Last year, 27.8 strikeout rate, 6.4 walk rate. Power arm, throws strikes, swing and miss, gets strikeouts, doesn't walk guys. But you gotta hope he stays healthy. He's not a free agent until 26, so that gives the Royals a full season of control following this year. So it's not a rent-a-player. It's not just for the rest of the year. To get them all next year as well. Wallace.
It's a sign that they want to do something this year.
Yes.
I mean, it's nice that he's there
yes.
for next year, too. But right now is when they're over 500 and they're in the wild card race.
It's a bold move. Wallace, 22 years old, second-round pick in 2022 at Arkansas. He's been in Double-A this year.
Tonight.
He missed some time with an oblique strain and now a rib fracture while he suffered on the rehab assignment for his oblique. He has a 265, 342, 420 slash line in the minors with 18 home runs over the last 3 seasons. He's described as a prospect that's got tons of power and excellent defense. Needs more time to develop, but as Annie Rogers writes, because we have to look at both sides of it, right? He needs more time to develop, but he has tons of power, excellent defense. That could make this deal sting. But the Royals knew what they'd have to give up the way the trade market has evolved to get the guy they wanted. And so this is like, he's not going to immediately come up and make the Royals, regret trading him.
Right. But
just let you know.
Look up in 2027 or 8
right.
and be like, oh, man, that guy was a Royal.
In a year or two, he could become a quality third baseman for the Nationals. And then I don't know what, I don't mind the draft pick. Draft picks are such a crapshoot, especially Major League Baseball.
Hey, prospects are a crapshoot. They just are. There are so many people in your organization. You've got, your 26, 27 guys running around the Major League roster, and you've got 4 minor league teams. You've got all these things. And most of them don't make the major leagues. You have to make moves. If you have someone you feel is a major league quality relief pitcher who can help your team right now, it has to hurt to trade. The trades that hurt are the ones you hope work out for you.
J.J. Piccolo said, I think this is a burden off our shoulders. We're able to get somebody that we are targeting. We'll continue to look, see how we can improve this team. We have some time to sit back, look at our club now, and decide how much we want to push. This is clearly a move that's made for this major league team to be better, so we'll continue to be active and see if the right trade, the right acquisition is out there for us. I don't know.
They need a bat, right?
Right. I don't know how likely it is that they'll go out and get a bat.
That's what they need at this point, though.
Right. I'm still on board. They want to get someone like Tommy Pham, whatever. But Hunter Harvey was not bargain bin shopping.
No.
Hunter Harvey was one of the top relief prospects on the market for anyone, for any team. And the Royals paid a steep price, but they went out and got him. And so I'm not going to sit here and tell you should be thrilled with this trade. And I'm not going to tell you, you know what, you ought to be real skeptical because they gave up a lot. It's just all, it's all your philosophy on this thing.
Hey, listen, the last 8 months of this organization, they have gone out and spent money on Seth Lugo, Michael Waka, gave $280 million to Bobby Witt, and they're making trade deadline moves, real moves. They are impressing me that they're in this thing for real.
Now there's always, and look, they're not going to come out and admit this, right? But this could also be a statement that they like Wallace, but maybe they're not totally sold on him being the third baseman of the future. And this also might be a statement of what they thought of the depth of this draft. Okay? And so it's not, there's some nuance here, right? And look, not everyone in an organization is always agrees on a prospect. There might be some guys in the organization that love Caden Wallace.
Sure.
Others have their doubts about him. But I'm just going to tell you this. There's a chance that the Royals traded their future, what could have been their future third baseman, someone's future third baseman, a future starting third baseman with good power and good defense, and then whatever they got, for the pick they traded, for a reliever that's only going to be here for a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if this guy's lights out, and then you also then look at it a little bit bigger picture, right? Well, how much can one guy help the bullpen? Well, it's more than one guy. With the way Chris Bubich has looked,
yeah, it's two guys up here.
Then you think about, man, if that's Bubich the reliever that's hitting 95 and 96 on the gun, that's still got that off-speed stuff, that can come in as a lefty and be a one-inning guy like that, and then you add Hunter Harvey.
Yeah, redid the whole bullpen.
Well, then you're talking about maybe having a seventh-inning guy and an eighth-inning guy you've added. You guys know that to be everything.
How about those Royals?
Okay,
huh?
now like you said, they got to still score enough runs consistently enough to make that matter.
And not run into outs on the bases.
But I'm not doing that right now.
Yes, you are.
I'm doing trade analysis. And so it is a trade. And so I'm just giving you my honest reaction. I look at it. Yes, they got Hunter Harvey. Whoa. They traded Wallace in a draft pick? Damn. Okay. All right. We'll move. Okay. And that's all right because we've talked about this. Sometimes the best trades work for both teams.
Yeah.
Maybe Hunter Harvey helps the Royals get to the playoffs and Caden Wallace ends up being the Nationals' third baseman in a couple of years. All right? Maybe Hunter Harvey helps the team get to the playoffs for 2 years. It's all out there. Maybe he pitches like one of the best setup men in the second half. Maybe he ends up being the Royals' closer. I don't know. I'm not going to argue if
everything's
he is.
on the table.
Right.
And
That's
maybe
exactly
next year
right.
they can trade him at the deadline for something else. I mean, there's all kinds of things.
And maybe Caden Wallace doesn't turn into anything with the Nationals, but I'm just going to tell you, I was like,
you like him.
He's fine. I was starting to try to talk myself into him,
This isn't Will Myers getting traded.
No.
This isn't like a top 5 prospect in all of baseball.
No. But, again, for top third base prospects, he cracked the top 10 on MLB.com. He was considered by them the Royals' number 2 prospect. Well, I think that's more of a comment on how MLB Pipeline views the Royals. They view their Royals system as shallow.
Not great. Yeah.
But if you are a fan that says, damn it, they got a chance to make the playoffs, let's go. They got a collection of starting pitchers that can get to the playoffs. Let's go. Don't take this for granted. Then you should be thrilled.
Yeah.
If you're super cautious and worried that this first half was a mirage and the Royals really aren't contenders and you're concerned about the long game, then this trade might make you pucker a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But again, there's a nuance
They'll
here.
probably do both because this is one of those trades.
But they acquired a better reliever than I thought they would, and they also gave up more than I thought they would. Which, at the end of the day, that's what you got to do to get the better reliever.
Yeah.
But I can sit here with a straight face and say, if you told me to make a list of the top 5 relievers that were going to be reasonably available in the trade market, he'd have been in it.
Let's flip this the other way. Last year, I don't think the Rangers probably wanted to trade Cole Reagans, but they wanted to get Aroldis Chapman. That trade probably hurt the Rangers. It helped them too because Chapman was good enough for them. They won the World Series, whatever. But if you ask them today, they'd probably rather have Cole Reagans on their team than not. That trade hurt.
They don't have him.
They don't because he's a Royal now.
But they got a title, so what do
they got? That's the thing. These trades, if they work, you don't regret the other side of it.
And it worked out really well for the Royals. But like once the Royals won the title in 15, you didn't hear me say one thing about who they traded. Like who cares?
Who cares?
I don't care.
Bye-bye.
I don't care what You get a ring, I'll trade whoever. Let's go.
Finnegan,
begin again.
Manaea, whoever.
Manaea.
And Manaea turned into a fine starting pitcher. I don't care.
I haven't seen him in the World Series.
But good for him, Let's look at highlights of the 85 World Series. We will take a break back after this on New Day with SSJ.